Hello, this is Yarrow, and welcome to another episode of the Yarrow podcast. So, today I want to talk to you about this all important decision about starting a new business in the current marketplace or the current world we live in with the internet, and especially with AI. Because obviously, you know this AI is disrupting and changing so many industries, and starting a business where AI is either a big part of your business or could replace your business or could just be made available by another AI tool. Like your idea could just exist in one of the big language models like ChatGPT or Anthropic. You've probably seen this. You go and build some kind of legal AI tool, and then suddenly Claude can do exactly what you were planning to build a business around just as part of their regular AI service in the chat. So you've got to be careful about what you're doing. This is interesting for me because when I was getting started, let me rephrase that. The two times I started new businesses that were very, very serious for me. One was when I was brand new and I was just getting started with the internet, and the internet was just getting started as well. So, although not the same, it was a similar kind of experience because the internet was disrupting the real world, the physical world. So, all these things we used to do in very non-internet ways was starting to be done on the internet. For example, shopping online, even selling online was different because when I was a teenager and I was planning to be an entrepreneur, in my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to get customers? I'm going to do all the things like television ads, radio ads, putting up posters. I wasn't thinking I'm going to start running a website and doing ads on different platforms online or getting affiliates. So I had the same experience where when I started my first business, I was in a very dynamic space and I had to be careful thinking about, what I'm selling, will it be replaced by a big, will Amazon just come in and eat up something I build? Obviously, I didn't know, but at the time Amazon was like a brand new company. But it's definitely a similar energy where you're like, I want to ride the wave. I want to do something new, but I also have to be careful because what I'm doing is new might simply be replaced or not even needed. That's the other thing. Your idea might actually not meet a need and you get too caught up with the technology. The second time for me, I mean, I've obviously started businesses many different times, but I feel like for me around 2015, when I was planning on my current business, Inbox Done, which was an agency, when I thought about that business, it wasn't a dynamic period in the sense there wasn't like an AI transition. We were really just riding the wave around that time of social media and apps and YouTube. So things are quite defined. There were very large players at that point. We knew about Facebook ads. We knew about YouTube. We knew about Google ads. We knew all the different ways to market online. It's all a very well established online space. And I was entering with an agency. So I was selling human labor, which is very old school in many ways, but obviously using the internet as a way to deliver that labor and actually solving one of the oldest problems from the internet, where we solve email. So that for me was an interesting thing to think about. But I want to point out what was really important about Inbox Done. And this is probably the most important tip I can leave you with for this audio. When I was building Inbox Done, I was thinking about what is the problem that we want to solve for people, regardless of technology, regardless of business model, regardless of anything other than what is something that people right now need to eliminate or change or solve in their life that they're willing to spend money for. So my assumption there was email. Email is something that they spend too much time on. It's often low-level activities, tasks that don't matter, and that's something they should be delegating to other people. That's the assumption. Now, building a business around it, obviously that's a whole different story, but entering a new business with a very clear definition of what I'm going to help people do made that business a much easier one to start. In fact, it was probably the most confident I felt about a business because I'd experienced it. We'd had plenty of people over the years talk about email as an issue through my coaching. I just knew that was a problem to solve. How to solve it, not necessarily always clear. You got to build a business around it, but that to me was clear. So now today in this space, you still have to think about what's the problem you're going to solve, but then you've got to marry it with the way you solve it using technology, and then think about where are things going. So I'm going to suggest, if you are thinking about starting a business today, watch out for two things. Don't get caught up in the technology for the technology's sake. Yes, these AI solutions are fantastic. I'm building one right now. It's amazing what it can do. But this is moving so fast. There's so many things being thrown out there that are just not going to work. And often they're being built not to meet a need. Now, that sometimes is an experiment. You don't really know if you're building something completely new, whether people are going to adopt that as a solution. Hopefully, you know the problem. You know there's a desire, a goal, a need, problem to solve. That's step one for any new business. But then you're trying to marry that with the technology you're building or a solution you're building. It's the solution part that may or may not be the choice people want to make. Maybe they definitely have the problem, but maybe your solution is just not the way they want to solve it. But you don't know until you build it or put some kind of MVP out there or offer something to someone. So that's always an important second step. Identify the problem, provide some kind of solution, get that MVP out there, get that first client, get that feedback, and then go from there. Now, the third thing that's a little different, and this is, I think, one of the only times where I've truly felt this is unique, is that because AI can do so many different things, and there's only a few big large language models that kind of dominate the space, you just don't know where this is going to go and which of the solutions the large language models are going to focus on. Like, are they going to do everything, or will you be able to carve a space where what you build might bring together various AI resources, like you're tapping into different language models for different things, but you're presenting them in a unique way. There's some secret sauce, there's something special that you do that gives you a reason to use, or gives other people a reason to use your company, or buy your software, pay for whatever it is you sell. And that's where we don't know the answer yet, but that's where I'd be looking. If you're looking to build something today, I'd be thinking, okay, we need to do something that's unique, solve a problem, and focus on creating value that won't be competed away or won't easily be replicated by one of the large language models. Now, you're going to have to expect competition. There's always going to be people trying to solve problems that people spend money on, but you can carve out a business. Now, this is important. Like, there's room for many, many players for different solutions. Like right now, I'm in a mastermind with other agency owners. Most of those agency owners are supporting e-commerce businesses. So they're building websites and doing ads and creating media for people who sell e-commerce solutions, or, sell their own products basically through e-commerce. And I noticed that almost all of these businesses are in some way overlap. They're not necessarily direct competitors, but there's a lot of overlap. And there's a lot of people doing ads. How many agencies are providing marketing services? And a lot of them are working. Now, maybe there's not a lot of $100 million agencies, but there's plenty of $1 million, $2 million agencies. So a lot of this depends on where you want to go. How big do you want to get? What is your ultimate goal? But if you're looking just to build that first business that gets you to $1 million a year, so you can truly have that, breakout moment, don't be afraid about being competed away. Just accept the fact that there will be competition, and that's fine. You're going to find your unique space, your unique audience, your unique marketplace. You're going to get some customers who just love to deal with you, and that's what's going to allow you to have a real business. Anyway, covered a lot there, especially for people who are considering starting something new, maybe pivoting. But hopefully something I said today will give you food for thought, maybe help you adjust and clarify where you're heading. I'm always happy to talk more on this. If you want to get in touch with me, just email me anytime, yarrow@yarrow.blog or yarrow@insidegrowth.com. All the emails go to the same place. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you on another episode of the Yarrow podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.